Let's do a short wrap up. What we have done last time, and what are we going to do right now? Maybe Luca, can you tell it, or so should I? Luca?
We try to install. We try to make the DDA managed IDE in Atom, and we didn't quite manage to finish that. But you finished that after the stream, and now you said that it works.
Not completely. I found a solution. So I'm going to share my screen, I think. No, that was the chat. That's the screen share. So first of all, our current task can be shown here. So this is what we are working on. So can you send the link by Hangout chat? And that's something like Jira, I think, but it's a public GitHub board to manage tasks. And we are going to install Atom in our remote IDE. And remote IDE is represented by the project. Let me open it. DDA managed IDE. So I do not know, Ali, do you have the projects already checked out?
No, I don't have it.
So you will find this. You will find this project on GitHub in domain-driven architecture. So maybe I can provide a link to you. So the second link it is. And on this project, we will open something in there. We are working on the branch issue 8. Issue 8 belongs to the board I have shown right now. How is this board? Where's this board? This one. Okay. So I will just open it again. So issue 8 is the number we have given here. Okay.
I was under the impression that Atom already worked because you wrote that it worked to me.
Okay, so I will show the current state. But first of all, I will show to Ali where he can find the code, even to you, I think. So on this branch issue 8, we have our managed IDE crate, and the managed IDE crate has some namespaces, and one of them is called Atom namespace. And you see we have already done some installs. So we have installed Python, we have installed GV file system binaries, and we had also downloaded the current Atom zip package. And so next steps will be to install them. with some bash. And we have some ugly point in here because we are firing up remote IDE in Amazon cloud. So we are not going to have any three-dimensional speed up acceleration or graphics acceleration, and the libraries which are installed on Amazon cloud have some bug, so Atom is not starting up at all. And something else we had tried last time, so that's to you, Luca, was to write some tests. And I've found the issue why all the tests, all the package tests was green, even if we had not have installed a package called cross. So we have fixed this issue, and now if we test for the package Atom installed, I would expect the test to fail. So because we have just downloaded the file, and installing the package itself will be the next step. So that's the current state we have. And manually I tested these steps already, and so these steps led to a working Atom on Amazon Cloud, but I've not automated these steps.
Okay, so that's what you meant.
Yeah, I think yes. Okay, so let's fire up an AWS instance. So for first you can see what we are working on, and then we have something also to collaborate on. And for firing up Amazon Cloud, we have introduced integration source directory, and in this integration source directory we have different instantiate namespaces, and I choose instantiate AWS, and will launch this in my REPL. And as soon as the REPL is coming up, I can also show the AWS console in browser, and then we can see that in the cloud is one server going to be installed, and we can follow up the progress of this installation. So therefore, I think I can open one more tab. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Hey. This takes all some time. Okay. So that's my AWS account. And you see we have no instances at the moment running, and also no instances created. And the REPL is also now up and running. And now let's converge the current state and fire up managed IDE. So I switch to the console so we can follow up what's going on. And maybe I can also have a look on the Amazon side. So Pallet is now getting contact to Amazon's cloud and is ordering one additional node. So we will have the fun of seeing one instance getting created in the cloud. And as soon as this instance is up and running, Pallet will connect to it by having SSH. First of all, Pallet is watching what operating system is installed on this server, and then it will launch our defined group and our defined configuration. Okay, it should be up and running. So next thing I would expect is that we will get some result. So SSH is connected. And now installation is being executed. So you see we are doing a package manager upgrade, so getting the current versions on our server. Then we will deploy authorized keys here. Then we are going to install Java, because Clojure is Java is running on a Java virtual machine. So Java is about 200 MB size, so it takes some seconds. So we're going to install IDE server. So that's a remote desktop system. Now we are already in the, I think, oh no, it's not. So we're installing some additional software. Python and this GV file system is already part of Atom namespace. So we are installing things for Atom. We are installing desktop right now. So we have an Xubuntu style desktop to expect. Desktop is installed. So I think next time we should measure how long it takes to set up a complete IDE. Maybe that's nice information. Okay, we are going to install Leiningen. And we have downloaded Atom dep package. And I think now we are finished. So to prove that we have installed a new IDE, we can use some YNC software. I just use this remote desktop view. We can take the IP address So we'll send it to you in chat.
Sorry, Michael.
And we can connect to, and the port is 5901. And yeah. And password is test. So you will be able also to connect to the remote IDE, and we can do real pair programming on this IDE, but at the moment it will only have VI installed, so maybe it's more feasible as soon as we have Atom installed and running here. But it's up and running, and I can show you that Atom package is already downloaded there. You see here, Atom deb is already present. Okay. So I think we are now prepared to start the work. Any questions from your side?
Yeah, I have one question. Is it possible to write in a script and every time just run it automatically to do all the steps?
Yeah. So the only thing I have done manually is that I executed this converge install function.
Okay.
So we have already in main namespace, not here, but in similar projects. And this main namespace can be denominated as startup class thing. So that's a Java start class or Java start function. So if we are calling Java -jar and we're giving the jar name dda managed IDE, then we can launch this on bash also.
Okay.
And we can also hand over some parameters. So the short answer is yes, it can be called in script, and yes, we have done it already, but I think not on this dda managed IDE module. That's not present.
Okay.
So have you, both of you, access to the IDE we have created?
Can you say the port again?
The port is 5901. So I will write it in the chat. So that's the IP. Oh. And port is 5901. Without this plus.
Should I connect to the special hyperlinks?
You can connect to this if you have a VNC player.
Because yeah.
So it's some remote desktop application or a GNU VNC, depends on what you have, which kind of operating system you are running on. But I think on every operating system.
The connection software called again?
To be honest, I am not know how it's called. So mine is called Vinagre. So it's Vinagre desktop viewer. But if you Google for VNC, viewers, you should get some selections or some options for your operating system. Maybe
Well, I'm
you
pretty
can
sure
even
we
here.
already installed something like this, but I cannot remember the name of that. So cannot start it.
So I will show it to you. So if you type in here VNC, then you should get some options. So we have a GTK. So I do not know how to spell this in English. VNC viewer, and the other option is remote desktop viewer. So maybe you have already installed some of them.
I'm just downloading VNC.
Okay. So yeah, there are really some options. So the Tight VNC, I not know how well this works, but yeah. So what's your operating system, Ali?
Now Windows.
Now Windows. Okay. So some of these should work for you, I think. Okay. So in the meantime, while you are downloading VNC, we can just give the test first idea a try. And we have a second common method. It's called server test. And I would expect this server test to run the test I've shown already in here. So this package test. And the server test should fail. So I will do this test in order to prove that the right versions of libraries are already referenced for our project. And if we have done this proof, then we can go on and go on to install the Atom.
Sorry, Michelle. I've downloaded VNC from the hyperlinks that I sent you. Am I correct? Is it
Ali,
the correct one? Yeah.
please don't breathe into the microphone. That was really painful in my ear.
Oh, I don't know why.
What was the password for the again?
Test.
Test. Okay.
Test is the password.
Because usually it's test 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm on.
No. Okay. Okay. Hey, what's about you?
Now I installed VNCs and page here that I should write email and password here. Should I sign up online?
I just don't think so. I do not know. So it's on Windows software. I do not know. You can share your screen, so
Yeah.
you can give us a look.
Let me share my screen. How can
Okay.
Okay, do you have my...
Oh, so licensing sounds like there you have to buy some license.
But that's VNC server. Maybe there's a way to have VNC just.
So we are searching for VNC client. You're right.
Oh,
Okay.
because I downloaded VNC from this hyperlink.
So I think you should download the VNC viewer. YNC, not L.
YNC.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, and we need a viewer, just not a server.
Oh, you mean client?
There's
Client
a
is
viewer.
also fine.
Download VNC viewer was there.
Yes. Is it this one? Sorry. This one?
So you have rapid progress on installing Tight VNC.
Yeah, I downloaded Tight VNC and now I have to enter password.
But that's again a server.
Oh. But I downloaded the client. Oh, I don't know. Could you please send me the hyperlink of VNC client on Windows? I couldn't find it.
So I would propose that you search Calm, and so we will go on.
VNC client, but
Yeah.
I couldn't find.
You will find it. I think that's something you can manage by your own. And as soon as you have found the client, then you can tell us again. So we will lead you to the connection story. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So in the meantime, I've executed tests, and you see that we have some tests passed, and we have also one test failed. And if I execute, let me see. I want to call an inspector, see the session result, the session we have got as result in more detail. And inspector is some closure built-in function. And the session we got as result is all the stuff we can see in the log files in a more detailed way. So for the test phase, we have a test package which is failed. And I will expect that we can see for which test, for which packet. No, we can't. So, okay. So it tested for Atom, and the summary is test failed. So Atom is not installed at the moment. Okay. So we are going to automate this step. So I have to call a bash, I think, because the package is not managed by a package manager, but it's downloaded individually. And I'm searching for example to copy.
Sorry, Michel, what's the password?
The password is test. So you're in?
Yeah.
Maybe you want to share your screen?
Let me share my screen.
Or should we just open an editor? Maybe there's VI installed? No, mousepad? Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I don't know how can I write here.
Just right. I think.
Just I see your message. Hi,
You can move the mouse. You can click in here and you can write.
Hi.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So next step would be to execute this command, and I'm searching for example how to execute some bash commands. So I have to do some search in other modules because there are many ways to do it false, and I want to take a short path. So I think execute would be a good idea. Okay, maybe we will do it in this way. Okay, so now should Atom got being installed, and these lines below are only useful or only used if you are installing things on Amazon Cloud. And so I think we should have some switch to switch it on or switch it off, because I think on local desktop installations we don't need this workaround. As you see, we are going to patch some library, so we're copying this library to the Atom library location, I think. And we are going to manipulate a binary file by using SED. This SID? No. SED is correctly spelled. And we are changing some strings in a binary file. So that's maybe not the really nice way to do some patching and to do some workarounds. And I want to have this workaround only at a place where we are really going to need it. So sometime before we had introduced conventions, and if you open the instantiate AWS folder or namespace file, then you will see we have an AWS provider, and this AWS provider is having, let me see, no, the provider itself does not have, but on the function we are calling, we are using a group, and the group contains configuration. And this group is defined on a config management group file. And in this group we are, no, we are not. So let me go back again. We have a group defined here, and we have AWS node spec, and this node spec is defined here. So at the moment I'm searching for the place where we generate configuration. So we have the provider, we have the group, IDE config, okay. Okay, so the config is not a function, but it's a definition, and it's defined in a config namespace. And here we are. So we have two configuration options. We have one configuration prepared for VirtualBox managed IDE config, or it's called VirtualBox managed IDE config, and this VirtualBox thing is directing to the local desktop setup, and the AWS managed IDE config is the configuration for the AWS installation. So we will need an additional switch in here, and the switch should define whether we have to install the workaround or we have not to install the workaround. So I think that's confusing, isn't it? So please ask questions. Or can you tell me what we are going to do?
Because I
Luca,
didn't
do
know
you
something about the background.
So maybe Luca, can you explain it already? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't really get the different. This lag is really annoying. I didn't get the differentiation between the VirtualBox and AWS configuration.
Okay. So the differentiation is defined in this integration config namespace. Maybe I have to roll up the story from another end. So on this integration, instantiate AWS namespace we are going to start. So that's our starting point. That's the thing. It's running up in the REPL in here, and we are calling this converge install. As you can see it here, and on this converge install function, this function has some parameters. It's which these parameters this function is passing to definition, and typically we have two parts we are defining. So we are defining a provider, and the provider is saying, are we targeting to the AWS cloud, or are we targeting to VirtualBox predefined or pre-installed instance? So on the instantiate existing thing, we have a quite simple provider. You can see it here. And a simple provider has a list of IP addresses, and so we can also interact with pre-existing virtual machines or servers. So however you will name them. So the one part is the provider thing, and second part is a definition what we are going to install. And the definition is already again divided into two parts. So the group itself is telling what is the installation receipt, and the configuration is the fine definition how we want to configure each element defined in this group. And if we have a look at this group, then you can see our managed IDE group is having some part which is handling initialization. So we are having a module in here. It's called managed VM. So that's a basic module for having VMs. So we have two parts of VMs, or two types of VMs. So one is the office VM for having office people, and one is development VM, and we call it IDE. So we have VM included in the group, and we have also included the IDE thing. And we are going to having a configuration, and we have a specific configuration module transporting configuration to a place where all these follow-up modules can consume configuration. So this part will bring configuration to the environment, and in the managed IDE module, we can consume configuration. And the configuration we are going to consume, we typically are defining this, what we expect to be there, to be ready to be configured in the main namespace. So each crate will have in the package crate will have namespace called having the same name as the crate is named. So for managed IDE, we have managed IDE namespace, and on top of this namespace, we are going to define a schema, how we expect that the configuration would look like. And for decision whether we want to have installation of Atom or not, we have key called settings, and the settings will have a set of options, and one of these options, the only one option, will be to install Atom. But now for Atom itself, for the Atom namespace, I want to have something I can do a statement like when, and let's say contains config, and let's say AWS workaround. Then it should execute these 3 commands. Only if this key is present in there, placed in there. So that's the expectation. So I do not want to have this workaround all time being installed. I just want to have this installed in AWS. Okay.
So we only did I understand that right, that we only need the workaround in AWS?
Yeah, that's right. And because I cannot express this case, this option, we have to change the configuration we expect to get, and we have to change the configuration we generate also. So we are using schema. Schema is some old way to express how data structures should be, and we will move this install atom to a upper part here, and we can say, okay, we have an optional key, and this key should be called atom. And then we can express that we expect some nested map in here, and this nested map should have a key. It's called install. It could be called settings, I think. And we will have some hash set thing like here. And we will have some option, could be called install AWS workaround. And we will remove all old settings thing. Okay, I will compile it. And so let's do some experiments with this new schema definition. So I will change to this namespace here. And we can do some things. It's called validate. So validate gets this first parameter schema and a second parameter and value. And we can try some maps and check whether these are valid. And we have schema dda-IDE config. And we tried with an empty map. So I've done some. Change to namespace. Okay, I will try it again. Yeah. So empty configuration is not valid because we have defined that IDE user has to be present. So we can add the IDE user. So that's a valid configuration. But at the moment we are working on Atom, so maybe let's add some Atom configuration. And Atom configuration would not be valid because schema has defined that for Atom keyword we have to provide a map. So we will provide a map. So now it says, okay, Atom has a map, but it's missing a required key, and this required key is called settings. So the configuration has to look like this. And now it says, okay, settings is correct, but something is not a set as we expect. So we should give him a set. A set is written as this hash. And we will give him the option, the configuration option to install a AWS workaround. So that's now valid configuration. Okay, and that's the way how we are defining configuration schema for our modules, for our crates. And that's the reason why we can then react on this configuration things. So now you can see we have here an installation function. And this installation function is containing some parts, and you see we have some when condition, and only if something is given, is included in configuration, we will going to install Atom. So before we started work, so we had these settings, but we had remove settings right now, so we can remove this let also. Like that. And we have to change this when code. So we can say when contains key, I think it's called. And then we can say we have no more settings, so we should choose the config. And config does not contain any more key called install Atom, but it has a key called Atom. Like
Should we not also change the contains above it also to contains key? Because closure is also a key, right?
Closure is also key, that's correct. So you're right, but yeah, you're right. So I think contains is the more appropriate thing to do. So in order to find out what's the right way, I have a good source of true. So there's a closure cheat sheet. I can send it to you in chat. And we will have a look in this cheat sheet. What's the difference between contains and contains key? So contains is a method to examine sets, and contains key is a way to examine maps, but I'm not sure about this. So we have a select key. keys. So maybe I will find it by searching. Max key, min key. Okay. So contains key was the wrong idea. Contains is the right one. Okay. So at this place we are going to call the function install in namespace atom. And right before we are going to install this workaround, we had no need for having some parameters in here. But now we want to take decisions in this atom install. And we have to hand over configuration, I think, or at least part of configuration. So I would add config parameter here, and we had to tell Clojure that we expect a parameter right now, and we call this parameter config. And now we are able to do a when contains in here also, and we have to watch if there is a config, there's workaround. So we have to check for a path in here, and so that's something I'm not sure about. I think we can test it on wrapper. So the configuration would be something like this. So we can say contains. Config would be something like this. And now we can test whether there is key available called atom. So we expect this to be true. Right. But now we want to have the key atom and check whether there is some key settings. So we expect this key settings should be there. That's wrong. So I have to find out, or we have to find out, how we can check passes through nested maps. And I think there should be some trick. But I have to read it. Contains. So we can call contains on maps, we can call contains on vectors, we can contains on strings, on sequences, on sets. Okay. Have to choose another option. So let's do a let in front of. So we will have settings, and the settings residing in config atom Now we can query if settings are containing, and let's copy the key. Okay. So this should work. For the set. So we can prove this. Command would give us the settings. As defined here. Right. So I have to remove this blank. And if we have the settings, then we can call contains and take this set and check whether the key is contained. So I think that's trivial. So I think I can save it, and maybe we can do some installation run again. And while it's installing, we can think about how to script these 3 lines. So in order to do this, I want to remove the running IDE. So you will get disconnected. I tell pallet, hey, we have just 0 VMs. Okay. I have to switch it over. Yep.
I will have to leave you now for today. Because
please again.
I have to leave you now.
Okay.
So are we going to do this next Monday also, or maybe?
Yeah, I think yes. Next Monday, I've retrospective, so in 2 weeks again, I think.
Okay. Because I thought that Atom was already working, I started to work on the Git implementation.
Well, that's fine to me.
So I will continue on the Git, and maybe if I get that to work, I can work on Atom after that. Or maybe maybe you finish it now with this.
We will give it 1/2 an hour more. So if we get it up and running, so I will write to you by chat, so you will be informed whether it's going to work or not. Okay.
Okay. Well then, good evening and goodbye.
Great. Bye, Luca. Okay, Ali. Now that's your chance to ask many questions if you have some.
Yeah, because I didn't familiar with Atom, and I didn't know anything about Atom. Now maybe a lot of questions that I have, but first of all, maybe it's better to search about it on the internet, and let's see something about the Atom. I think Atom is a framework for maybe deploying the Clojure application. Am I true?
No, Atom is an editor, so I can show it to you. It's called Atom.io. It's an editor maintained by GitHub, I think, or driven by GitHub. And it's a quite simple editor, but there are many plugins. And Atom is maybe a good option to have closure editor IDE thing, I think.
And which one is better, Eclipse that we are using or Atom?
Well, I don't know. So Eclipse works for me, but Atom is maybe faster, or maybe someone else likes Atom more than Eclipse. So I think that's not a question what's better, but the question is, can we provide both?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of better, that I means that, for example, does it provide some features that Eclipse is providing, such as understanding the autocomplete, or for example, something for libraries and the other things?
Yeah. So Atom has a quite faster startup time for wrapper. So I've seen the wrapper is taking let's say half a minute for start for Eclipse, and for Atom it's taking some seconds, 2 seconds or 3 seconds. So that's really much faster. So that's fine. But on the other hand, Eclipse has the better Git integration, I think. So at least for me. But I found also good Git integration plugins for Atom. So maybe that's only a matter of understanding the integration.
And what about the autocomplete of code? Does it work such as Eclipse, or is it better?
Eclipse has no good auto-completion for closure. And Atom, I've seen some buggy auto-completions also. So I don't expect much on both sides.
Because it's the first time that I'm attending to pair programming in case of online, and it was I wanted to know exactly which program are you using for sharing for example, your project, or how can you manage the pair programming
Okay.
in online, because I didn't experience before online programming, pair programming.
Yeah.
It's a good experience.
One experiment we're going to do, or going to make or drive, is to install Atom on this AWS IDE, and also install, let's say, the library or the Git repository, so the managed IDE, for example. So if we have these two elements in addition installed on AWS IDE, then we can work together. So everybody can type. So we can mix up driver and pilot. No, driver and navigator in terms of pair programming.
Is AWS based on the IntelliJ IDE?
No.
No? Because I searched on the internet, because there's a manager, AWS manager for IntelliJ IDE. I don't know whether it's that one that you are.
So can you show it to me in chat?
Yeah. Just let me send you.
I didn't be sure to get the right spelling.
I'm not sure whether that's something that you are telling about. Yeah, I sent you
the
hyperlink.
So I would expect that this is something completely different. So Trains is the IDE, And so maybe they have also some infrastructure as code projects, and maybe there's some plugin to manage AWS resources by click or by UI. So I would not expect that this has to do something with our experiment.
Okay.
Okay. So do you have more questions at the moment?
The moment. Honestly speaking, no, because I should prepare for myself for next time. I mean, to read something about the atom and know something about the closure more, of course.
Okay. So let's try to these 3 lines also in some script actions. And so I'm not sure about this change directory thing. So I want to search documentation, whether I can express the execution environment of this action. So maybe I have to do this change directory for. So this copy, I can give the I can give the path absolute, but for this CD, I'm not sure. So maybe I can put this path in here. So do you think this could work? Should we try it up front, or should we fire it and watch whether this works?
For me, it's difficult
SED?
to guess. Which one do you?
SED.
SED. Yeah, it's I think for changing pattern, maybe searching for Linux.
Yeah.
I use it.
So the question is SED able to handle direct addressed files, or should we have this change directory in front of? That's something I'm not sure about, but maybe we can try it and how this VM is going to react.
Do you want to change the directory by SED right now?
So we had this change directory command in between. So do you know?
Because I think it's possible to change the directory by SED.
Yeah, but maybe we do not need this. But if we will need it, then we have to read the documentation, I think.
Let me send you something. I'm not sure, just as a try. For example, I sent you something.
So this will change home. So what will this SED command do?
It just, change underline home, underline to, I think to home.
Yeah. Okay. But so that's not what I want, because this file I've addressed here, it's a library file, it's a binary. And so this string is included in this binary, and the string reflects an option which isn't working without having graphics acceleration installed. And so we have to disable this, and that's the reason why we are replacing big requests with underscore big requests. So the count of characters will be the same. So there will not be a difference in length on this library, but some option will be disabled. So that's what this SED command is doing. And the question was, can we address this library file where we are going to do changes as an absolute path, or do I have to change directory into this working directory front? So that's what I'm unsure about. But yeah, let's give it a try. Okay. So the next thing I'm not sure about, I think this exec script will execute first this copy command, and second execute this sed command. But I think it would be better that if copy is going wrong, then we should not execute the sed command. So I will have a look on the documentation, and I think there should be something like a checked script or something like this. So that's something I want to ensure. So do you know the pallet documentation already?
Not yet.
I will send a link to you.
Thank you.
So we are having actions namespace, and in the actions namespace we are having execute script, and on the same level we have execute checked script. Okay, so we will have to add an additional script name. That's fine. The script name will be called AWS atom workaround. I think in this way it could work. Okay, we'll stop the REPL because you've seen some defines already. So you see this define, and in opposite that's a def function. You can see the difference. Def function defines a function, and def is defining a static resource. Let me say in this way. So you do you know Java development?
Yeah, but I'm not sure here the meaning of a static that you used is exactly the same as the static in Java that we are using. Is it exactly the same meaning?
Not exactly, I think, because we are just meeting on bytecode, not on object-oriented level, but it has similar effects. So if I give other values to this SSH key definition, that's not in all contexts, not in all environments sure that the new value is appearing at. So this behavior is the same as Java static. That's the reason why I have to restart REPL if I change something is residing in this dev sections.
I got it.
Okay, so I've converged with target 0 instances. So we should have no more instance running on AWS. So let's have a short verification view. Reload it. So it's terminated. So now I will going to create a new one. And we can have a look on the console. Oh, what's going on? Oh, I think we have forgotten something. So there will be an exception, possibly. So we have changed the configuration on this level.
Oh.
You can remember? But we have not changed the configuration we are using in order to fire up this this VM. So I have to change the creation of configuration also. So this the Atom, and Atom will have settings. And the settings should contain something like install AWS workaround. That's only true if we are in context of AWS. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the default IDE convention. So we call this function at this place. So we have not the VM platform as parameter given here, but I will provide an additional parameter so we can decide upon whether we want to have this workaround in place or not.
And how can we understand? How can we realize that it uploads on the AWS correctly?
How we can check that the upload has worked? So if to follow the log, and if there's something going wrong, then the installation run will exit with an error code.
And is it does it provide something like as returning all things? I mean, such as transaction that we have in database. For example, for failing uploading to AWS, can we return back all the things from AWS? I mean, sometimes that we want to be sure AWS works correctly. Is there any feature in AWS or maybe in our code that make it exactly such as transaction and rolling back?
No, transaction behavior is not. I think it's far away in the cloud in terms of cloud. So you have to run some operations in order, and after these operations have been applied, we have to test, I think. So we will have not the option for a rollback, for doing a rollback, and we will have not the option to tell AWS that all these things has to be executed in a successful way. So that's what not be possible. But what we can do is we can install a machine server IDE like we are doing right now, and we can do tests. And if these tests are going successful, were successful, let me say in this way, then we can freeze this machine and create an image out of it. So we can snapshot the storage volume, and then we can create clones of this successful instantiated VM. So that's the way you can do it in world of cloud. So this would not be like a transaction, but having these tests would enable us to say, okay, every download of every package has worked. There was no networking issue and things like this, and so we can reproduce this installation in terms of making clones of a successful created virtual machine. Okay, so let's come back to our workaround. So I have added an additional parameter in here, and I have to add this parameter in function definition also. And now I can add this, I can react on this parameter in here. And let's say put in here an if. And we say, okay, VM platform equals AWS. We will have this workaround, and if it's not, then we will have empty settings, so we will not need this workaround. So things will be finished here. Okay. So that's the way this could work right now. And you see, we have successful installation run, but I think AWS installation would not be really successful. So error handling is something we should improve. So that's something we have on our roadmap. So in log file, I can't see any issues, but I think on session I will see. So we can have an look to our session. So I will need the tree inspector again, and let's have a view on session. So you see, I've defined session in here, and the session gets the result of this function. And the session is defined, so we can inspect it after the function has been finished.
Sorry. Does the session here the same meaning in comparison to Java EE servlet?
No, not really. So session is the runtime information for pallet. So in this meaning, it's the same like WEE sessions, but in WEE, a session is all bound to an user, and we have no user context in here, so we have no server. So I execute one function directly on my wrapper, so I'm the only user for pallet at the moment. So the user binding is not comparable to Java HTTP server, but having a reflection on runtime state, that would be something comparable.
Okay.
So we can look at the results and see different entries, and we have an install phase. In this install phase, we have also a result. You see there are many actions which has been executed, and so we have to trace them through. I think remote file action was not ours. IDE user creation was not ours. Directory creation also not ours. Remote file. We have an exec script. That's maybe something. So it's setting the DNC user password. So that's not the exec we are searching for. Remote file action, not ours. Directory, also not. Okay, I know why there was no exception, because our convention module did not create atom settings thing. So this key was a missing key, and in this, so our module did not install atom at all. So that was the reason why the changed configuration was not effective. So there was also no exception. Okay. So let me fire up a new REPL again. And I think now all these things can work. You see, the REPL is a long doing task to start.
Is there any things equivalent to REPL that can be used?
Where?
I mean, is there any equivalent for REPL that we can use in project?
A read. A REPL is something provided by Closure World. So it's a read, evaluate, print loop. So I can type in here functions, and these functions are going to be executed, and I get the result printed here. So REPL itself, it's part of Closure, or part of Closure installation. But the REPL launch, so there are many ways how REPL can be launched. And there are also maybe not only one REPL, but maybe there are 2 or 3 implementations of REPL. So I do not know which parts in album are different to get it faster. But let's first concentrate on this exception in here. So it says, okay, there's unknown symbol settings. It's in the namespace convention managed IDE, and it's in line 29. So we have to have a look in here. So on line 29. So it's correct. Okay, that's the wrong thing. So we are on convention. Line 29, we are here. So that's true. Things have to, how this is called? Colon? The sign, this the symbol. I have to write it in the right way. So if I add this in German it's Doppelpunkt, I think it's a colon in English. If I add this colon in front of, then it's just a sign that this following symbol is a keyword. Okay, now this namespace is compiling. So now we have the chance that this instantiate AWS namespace is also compiling. Yes, it is. It's green. And now we can shoot the existing instance down and start a new one. So it's running the moment. Now it's shooting down. And now we can install the next one.
Sorry, the color of AWS was red. Does it show that it's unsuccessful deployment?
Yeah. So which color was red? This one?
No. In AWS.
This one? No. This color is sign of state. So terminated state means this server is not accessible anymore. It's physically deleted. So there's nothing left. So that's the meaning of terminate. And shooting down is Amazon is going to shoot down virtual machine at this point. So now you see now it is terminated, and we are going to create a third one, and this is already running. And if we switch to log file, then you see we have just started installation.
And is there any limitation for AWS account that we buy? I mean, whenever we want to buy, for example, AWS hosting, should we, for example, say precisely that I want, I don't know, 1 GB of host or something else?
So that's part of this provider definition. So you can see I've defined which kind of hardware we are using. So we are using a T2 micro instance, and that's a defined size of compute power and size of volume and size of networking and things like this.
And can it be customized?
No, I don't think it cannot be. I think it cannot be customized. You can choose among, I think, 50 configuration settings. So these are pre-configured. And if you need additional volume space, so you can add additional volumes. So that these are the parameters we can walk on, or we can live in. And this T means there are different classes of compute versus compute power versus memory space. So there are some families of T's and M's and things like this, and crosses and things like this.
Okay.
So by the way, T instances are for free for the first year. So at least the T micro, I think. And there's a smaller one, and it's called T nano. So it's also free for the first year to use.
Okay.
And I think since next year we need we have to pay for this. And so we have to pay for every started hour. So if we just fire up one instance and take it immediately down and start the next one, we have to pay for 2 hours at least. Okay. Now we have here an error state. So we have to see what was going wrong. And you see remote file download has worked, but I think I should have a few on the log file. Okay, so what was last command? So you see here, we have we sent something, and we sent this one, and we received. So the user executing this is root, and sudo user is also root. And we have executed the package install temp and got back dpkg, gk. So command was typed wrong. dpkg is right, and I've written it in the wrong way. That's sad. So I think that's the right way, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's short format, the package.
So that's the right command, I think. Should we try it? I can try it. So the machine is already up. So I can take the IP address and can connect. I want to connect to this. Oh, no. It's not working. So maybe there's something missing. So I can recompile it, and we can retry installation. Atom is going to be downloaded. Okay. Atom workaround is going to be installed. Now VNC server is set up. And now it should be finished. Correct, it's finished. So now we can try to connect again. Yeah. So if everything is going right, then now Atom to work. Cool. We have an up and running Atom. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So we could have in this IDE user later on a folder. It's called code. And maybe we'll have on this folder code. Clone. Okay. So now we should have the Git URL from DDA managed IDE, but copy paste through remote desktop viewer. I not know how this is going to work. So that's that's something we will leave for next time, I think.
Maybe.
Great. Oh no, I can clone it because I can also access this IDE by SSH. Idea. Okay, so that's the IP. So now we can say git clone, and I can copy the project link. Let's take the HTTP link. Clone or download. HTTP, copy this, paste it here. So here we are. And now we have DDA managed IDE in Atom and are able to edit things in here. So you will find integration in here. And you will see the instantiate AWS. So that's something you can remember we have worked in. Cool. And you can see we have syntax highlighting for Clojure already.
And how Atom does understand the changing of Git in itself?
For this, we should install some plugins. We have already investigated which plugins these are, but we have to write some code or find how we can add plugins by command line. So I'm not sure about this. So for Atom, we can add some plugins by UI. I think packages is this, or is it file? Config? Edit config. No, that's not. Packages, it's also not. Ilk. Preferences, yeah. Here we are. So in preferences, there are packages, and we have installed packages, and we have. Okay, maybe I can close this. And we have the option to install things. And here we can, for example, install the Atom clock. So that's the way how we can install things by UI. But in order to have a config management access for this, we need to find out how we can install packages by command line. So that's an open task.
Okay.
Okay. So I would say I have to commit the code. So I will do this after on. And we can close maybe the issue. Maybe let's have a view on this issue again. Yeah. So I think Atom is installed. So we can mark this as done. No. Okay, I have to change state on. Okay, and close the issue. The next thing would be that we automate this clone of project repository, and then we can go on and install some plugins for Atom.
Okay.
Okay. So what do you think about the way we are handling configuration and installation and things like this? So what was new for you?
A lot of things. Yeah, because I didn't experience before. I told you the closure and something like a wrap up. So all of them are new for me, and I think it's a good idea to understand. I mean, to start beginning learning the closure.
Okay.
Yeah, I will do it after finishing my exam, final exam.
Okay.
Simultaneously with German language.
Yeah, that's fine. So we will continue in 2 weeks, I think. And so feel invited to join next meeting also. Okay.
Okay.
Great. So I will merge the branch after we finished the meeting, and I wish you a nice evening, I think.
Anyway, thank you.
Okay.
For tonight.
Bye, Ali.
Bye. Bis dann.
Bye.